Hello all, welcome to another unboxing. Let's just get right to it. Target exclusive Cruella. Yesterday in the mail I got Black Widow. I also bought the very best of Buddy Holly and the Crickets and the essential Elvis Presley. And since it's a Loki Goblin slash comic average, I ordered three of these Stay Puft Marshmallow Anti-Puff Mini Puff Surprises. I got three of them. I ordered them from Target. Uh, this box. Just got crushed. I already had Microsurgeon, but the box wasn't good. So I got Microsurgeon complete now for the Intellivision. And front of the last box. Some of the stuff it used to be where it went from Harrisburg to my post office here in Millville, to my house. Now it's bizarre. Stuff's going from Harrisburg to Bloomsburg, then to Millville to my house. So I'm like, oh wow, stuff's taking longer. I bought Cuddle Team Leaner Funko Pop Fortnite. This is one of my daughter's favorite skins. She doesn't know I got it. I have to get a plastic case for it. Oh, a lot of crap going on in the comic book world. They made Superman's son, I guess, gay. Now, see, I don't bother buying new stuff because this is exactly why I don't buy new stuff. They made Wonder Woman a lesbian. They did make Harley Quinn a lesbian. I'm sorry, but I was pissed off. I was upset when they made the Golden Age Green Lantern a gay man. And this is a guy that had married the Golden Age Harley Quinn, had two kids, Jade and Obsidian, and then comes out of the closet. I'm like, you know what? I liked it better when I was growing up and I read it. You know, this is the thing that bothers me. For almost 100 years, comic books were for everybody. Since the dawn of the 20s and 30s when they started coming out. Teenagers grew up in the men, and they're like, I don't give a crap about, you can't afford this or you can't read this. I want it for me. It's way for me to hell with everybody else. And that's exactly the thing. Now, the LGBT guys have got their foot a hole into this thing, and everybody's becoming gay, bi, lesbians, gay, and I'm like, you know what? I liked it better when there was no sexual orientation at all in comic books. Everything was left to your imagination. Catwoman, Batman, they would black it out, and you were, right, like a kissing, like a smooch sound or a slap sound, and you just, that's how you in your head. Everything now has got to be graphic, show, tell you. I actually think there should be no sex in the comic books unless it's an adult comic book, rated A. I think it should be left. Everything should be made for still kids. You can still do a good storyline, but for kids. They did it for decades. And all of a sudden now it's not good enough. It's like, come on. And finally some people are saying what I've been saying. You don't have to buy new stuff. There's millions and millions of comic books out there, right? I guess the guy in the Guinness Book of Records, he only has 100 and some thousand comics. Well, I look at it this way. You figure every decade there's a couple hundred titles. Like 52, they have 52 titles. Well, 52 issues you get every month, right? 52, 52. 2 months, that's 104 issues. Double that, 4 months, 208, right? You're looking at a year, you know, close to 800 issues. You're buying, okay, that's just one company. Now, you go back decades, like Batman. People want to collect Batman. Well, over 1,000 issues just on Batman. Detective Comics, same thing. Now, right there is a ton of books you can buy, and yeah, they're not cheap, but still, if you want to read, I mean, look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man is Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, which was Peter Parker, and I'm sure there's a million other ones I'm not going to throw in there because it's the same thing with Batman. You have Batman Detective Comics, but you also have Batman and the Outsiders, Batman and Robin, uh, and all the other stuff that came out. You can collect stuff. In fact, if everybody quit tomorrow, there's still enough comic books floating out there that could probably withstand a generation removed, and you can still buy books before anything gets really scarce. Because they printed, some copies, millions, some copies, hundreds of thousands. Because the only people who are making money on this crap is the comic book dealers and the people who are pushing this. And all this hype of the thing is, this is going to drive the price up. But it's just like when Superman died. I mean, a couple $100 they were selling the death of Superman. Now you can pick it up for what? Less than $10. I feel sorry for the people who paid the $100 and some dollars. It's just crazy, and I'm like, I've always liked my rationale of how I collect, because I collect almost everything, so it doesn't bother me. Because if I just don't get it, I just don't get it. Who knows? 20 years down the road. I mean, I've picked up limited edition stuff that they only made 250 copies. Now that's scarce, considering that there's thousands of some independent titles, and less than $5. Just like with baseball cards, a lot of stuff from when I was collecting big in the '90s, like Don Russ, the numbered card sets, 2,500. They don't book hardly. Like, I mean, stuff with low production runs and low, they should be worth something, at least like 10,000, 20,000 and below, because there's more collectors than those numbers. But they're not, because everything's about what's hot now. And until this mentality changes, it's going to keep on being like that. I mean, every day I look and there's people getting rid of their comic book collections, and they want a chunk of. They want a lot of money for it. And I'm like, no, because what you got is pretty much everywhere. That's like if I sold my stuff, I'd get good bank probably on 40%, but 60% of my collection, it just sit because it's everywhere. And same thing with my video games, my baseball card, because I got some older sets, but the stuff that was overproduced, like in the beginning in the late '80s, early '90s, that stuff, there's tons of it. In fact, there's tons of everything. I mean, everything that comes out now gets put away, bagged and boarded, boxed up in plastic cases and sleeves and hard plastic. There's more of it out there. It's not like from the 60s, 70s, 80s where people got it, threw it in the garbage. They burned it to start a fire. All that stuff increased the matchboxes I collect. If I didn't enjoy collecting stuff, I just probably still put my money in a 401k or a high interest yield mutual account. But I don't. I enjoy collecting, and I enjoy looking at stuff, because to me, I like looking at the old baseball cards and see how their hair and how some of the uniforms changed. But some of the prices people want for stuff is like ridiculous, especially now with autographs. I constantly keep looking, and I swear to God, it used to be when I started going, people would sign stuff for some people. Cheapest I saw was $10. Now the cheapest you're looking, I see people $50, $50, $50. I'm like, I'm on disability. I get my disability is locked. My workman's comp is locked. I have 3 more years of workman's comp. I make $10 and some cents an hour. So $50 is almost 5 hours of pay for me, and that's gross. So it's be like 7 hours of pay. So basically, almost a day I would have to pay to have this guy sign something for me, and that's nuts. Because with disability and workman's comp, they don't give you a cost of living. They don't give you a raise every year while you're on it. So that's why my wife works all the jobs she does. She did say that she's not going to be working a Saturday job because it was 8 hours and it was a pain because she wasn't around for the grandkids who were raising. And she's like, I need some time for me, and I'm like, I understand it because she doesn't get medical insurance. If it wasn't for me and workman's comp and them having stuff to pay my medical insurance, my family wouldn't have medical insurance. And in 3 more years, that is going to end unless I get my disability retirement, which I should get it. I've been on disability now for 13 years. In fact, I have to have my daughter bring a package in because it's too heavy. I'm not supposed to lift. But it's just like crazy. This society is like, and then people are like, oh, you look fine. Yeah, I look fine. I've actually been dropping weight. But if you looked at, if I was fine, this downstairs would be done because I wouldn't have to wait for people to come and help me, like my father, who had a heart attack, this past year. In fact, he's coming Saturday, and he's gonna probably fix a door in the sliding door in Lexi's room, and we're talking about building a shelf over there for my loose Atari cartridges. So I'm gonna be, hopefully that'll get done. I brought some of the wood in already. I gotta go. I have Lexi bring in a couple boards yet, but I'm thinking about starting it so he doesn't have to do as much work. I could probably get the design out and cut some of the smaller pieces. Because I don't like having him do all the work either. Because it's, when I did the shelves for the box games, he helped me do the one. And he was actually thought it was, because my father yells at me for stuff. It's hilarious. I don't know why you want to do it that way. It's making too much work for you. And then when it's done, hey, that looks pretty good. Hey, that was a good idea you had. I just chuckle because that's how it always is. He'll yell at me, why am I doing this? Because I have a vision of what I want. And when I get it done, then he's like, oh, yeah, that's just like this thing here. Took it off my entertainment stand, and I said, hang it up. He comes down, he's like, that looks good up there. I said, yeah, I'll paint it white. The bar will be white with the glasses in it when I get it done. Paint it white, has lights up. I'm probably going to put I don't know what collectibles. There could be sports collectibles. But that's what's going to be up there. There's so much work to do. It's like unreal. I got a lot of stuff to put away. Stuff's piling up. Because a lot of stuff has to do with other people. Like the stuff going into my garage to go in the attic. My garage is a mess because every time somebody goes in there to use a bicycle, pull out a toe, they don't put it back. And it stucks me doing it, and some of them I can't move because they're too heavy. So it's like, and then I tell her, hey, Lex, put this away. You pulled it out, put it away. Stuff's still there. Just like when I do wash, Lex, your laundry basket's down here, take it upstairs. A week later, Lex, please take your laundry basket up. That's why, too, like, she made a comment how I don't ever do anything with her. And I'm like, well, Lex, we went to a flea market. I bought you a Pikachu character. You do, but when I want you to go with me to a comic book store for a nice trip, no. Unless she, like when she was looked by an anime, that was fine. I'll go to a comic book because she was getting what she wanted. And I'm like, I'd go shopping with my mom all the time. I always told you I was close with my mom and my dad. My dad said, let's go to a comic book store, or not a card store. I go. It was just my time, and I like spending time with my father. In fact, I can't wait till he comes down on Saturday. Once we do the work, we're going to watch Combat. So, yes, I'm going to defoul the $200 and some box set sealed. I'm just going to open it up, and I'm like, whatever. Watch Combat. Because that was a show he watched as a kid. Teenager, too. So, I'm looking forward to that. I got a lot, like I said, I got a lot of work. There's all kinds of stuff I have to do. It's like crazy. I think I said in one video some of the glasses I saw two glasses I didn't have for the superheroes, and one went for, oh god, $2,000 or $3,000, and the other one went for over $1,000. And I was like, if I had that much money to throw away, I'd be like, they had to go to somebody who was like rich. Like I said, I also went on vacation too, and there was a guy talking about pray big, pray big. Every day I've been praying big. I want a museum. I want a collectible museum. I want to be able to display all my comics and memorabilia and actually have like a humongous place. I would love to buy like 25, 50 acres and build a big warehouse complex. Have a comic book and collectible shop, but then have like, just be like Cooperstown, but pop culture town. You know, Kingdom of Collectibles. Build it like a castle with castle. You know, build like a castle. But I was thinking about no, because I would want like the front of it to look like the Hall of Justice, the back the Legion of Doom, Avengers Mansion. You know, do it so way people can take, or X-Men's Mansion. Have the back, the sides, so people could come in like, oh, take a picture in front of it. Have, you know, people, you know, what is it called? Like a tourist attraction type deal, like, you know, have people wanting to come and see my place. That's like I always said, if I ever came in buku money, I'd buy Kit, the Ghostbusters car, the '66 Batmobile, the Tumbler. I would get it, even if I have to get replications, not original ones, like, you know, just just to have people, so I can have people, when people come and they can't, of course they won't be able to go in them, but they can take a picture in front of them. I would like that, because anymore when you go to all these shows, and I mean, $20 to get yourself a picture taken in the Batmobile. Really? With your own camera yet? To me, that's just ludicrous. Like when I was a kid, I got to sit in Bessie, which was the third/fourth Doctor's car, and I look at stuff like that, and I'm like, you know, anymore it's like crazy. You know, I seen people go around with the rover from Lost in Space, and you know, I'm like, yeah, I would like to have a massive complex like that. And I see Kickstarter. There's another thing that bothers me. Kickstarter, right? A lot of these places, these guys, like the guy who created Lady Death, they got the money to put another comic book, but they're on Kickstarter, and people are paying them for the Kickstarter. And I'm like, these guys, it's not like they're a fledgling to get off the ground. You know, they're already established artists. They got, you know, they had the characters there, right? I that's you know, I'm like, that's like now if DC Comics wants to start a Kickstarter. I'm like, why? They're $1 million company. Uh, I just don't agree with that either. That's like there was a Kickstarter for a rock group I like. They had a thing where, you know, I'm like, yeah, but these guys made millions, and I just usually keep my mouth shut on it. I'm like, the stuff is not being used. You know, to me, it's not for what I can see. If it was a band that was like, say, you played in a garage for 20 years and you want to, you know, get your music out there and get a record contract, right? That's what Kickstarter should be for. Person that does not doesn't have the financial income to come in to do it. I see a lot of people who already are, you know, have the financial income, who are established in industries, doing Kickstarters, and I'm thinking to myself, why? You can afford to get a loan and do it. You know, you have good credit. You know, you're already been doing this for 20 years. Um, I just find a lot of this stuff is I mean, is going nuts, and there's the people that can afford it. Like, I don't care. You know, screw you. Basically, you know, is their mentality. And I'm like, because I found out, you know, there is no point. A lot of people think I'm rich because of all the stuff I have. You can't go by what the value is now. Like I said, I'm 51 years old. I started collecting stuff. If I, you know, I still have stuff from when I was 4, but not as much as like I have probably from stuff from when I was 14, 15, 16, I still have 90% of that. And then what I bought, I didn't pay. In fact, the most I paid for a comic book was $125. Did it twice. That's it. Other than that, my dad would get me for Christmas and birthday. And I'm still 51 years old. My dad still gives me something for my birthday and Christmas. And I'm glad he does. And I'm very appreciative, because if he didn't do that, I wouldn't have a lot of my stuff finished. And I'm lucky that way. But a lot of people don't have that in their life. Don't have, they didn't come from, my dad's well off. I'm middle. And my wife did the bills, and we can get some assistance because we don't make as much. Now, a family of 5, which we should only be a family of 3, but because of my stepdaughter raising the grandkids, it's rough. You too, like, you always think, when you get to a certain age, that you get the golden years, they call it. I'm 51. I haven't reached them yet, and I'm already shot physically. In fact, just sitting here like this, my back's starting to, I guess, cross. I get tingling in my legs, into my feet. It's just a bad thing. And my wife yells at me, because what I got to do is I also have to start selling some of my doubles. In the long run, you're gonna see me post a video and tell you, like, what I'm doing, because once I have a lot of stuff up on Facebook, a lot of double video games I put them as book price or whatever, the pricelisting.com had them at. I can do better on a lot of them, but I'm like, if I sell them, because there's a lot of time in it. When I get a game like this game here, I'll sit here probably the rest of today, and I'll go through what I have. The box is the box. I'm stuck with this box, but the cartridges, this cartridge is in really nice shape, but I'll clean them. I clean every time I get a game. I clean the cartridge as best as I can, as far as I can get it, because I use them. If there's writing on it, I have a magic eraser. It usually takes all the writing off of them. I have Windex, isopropyl alcohol, and I had this solution I bought on eBay, which is for the pins. And I already went through almost a whole big container of Q-tips already since April to clean them, because I had a lot of games that, the last lot of games I had, I bought like 24 games. I had to clean every one of them twice to get them all working. They all worked but one, and I threw that one in the stack of games to get rid of, just to sell for like cartridge cases. And that's another thing. That's why I bought Buddy Holly and Elvis. I have MP3s of them, and all the Elvis ones cut off. So I was like, okay, buy that. And the Buddy Holly ones, whoever put them up had the volume level, and the what's it called? The mix was terrible. It was just so loud. Because actually, I love Buddy Holly. If he didn't die in a plane crash, I think his career, he'd probably be considered the king of rock and roll, as far as I'm concerned. Because you look at so many years before he died, how many hits he had, And I always wonder, like, what these people would have done if they lived longer. And you're never going to know. It's speculation. It's opinion. You don't know. But in my opinion, he would have probably had more hits than the Beatles and Elvis and Michael Jackson. Because it seemed like a lot of his stuff, I'm sure he would have had a good life if it wasn't for the plane crash. I'm already 24 minutes into this video, but just some rantings and some, thoughts. The cases, I did finally put all my loose, I'll show you, I'll take you for a walk. I put all my All my Nintendo games I put in plastic cases. But the one thing I did not anticipate was these plastic cases weren't made for the dust protectors. But I managed to get them all in, except for RBI Baseball, because that's a bigger cartridge, so I don't know what I'm going to do with casing that. And I did order more of these plastic cases for the Atari ColecoVision Atari 7800, because all these games I want to get out of these cases and put the rack going to there to about that far, like two I-beams over from the beginning of the NASCARs. And I want to probably make it to where it comes down to right above where that curio cabinet ends. So they'll be flush with the thing, so that stuff won't fall off the back. And that'd be nice to have it all the way there, because I can actually go and I'll be able to just reach up and pull them. And I do have a step stool down here, so in case I can't reach up, I'll have a step stool. But this is everything that I've been going through doing. I mean, there's just so much work in this house I can do, and it's just like a lot of it, like I said, is stuck with me needing help with it. And that's the kicker. I still have a bunch of stuff coming from eBay, though. Another lot of games. One loose game. These are all 2600. God, I'm trying to think of what else, because I bought some Aquaman comics. They're coming. I'm waiting for a ton of instruction manuals. I went through all my books, all my games in the books, and I still need like easily over 100 manuals. And some of them are like ridiculous on eBay, like the manual for Aliens, the manual for Cosmic Corridor. You know, a lot of the manuals were cheap. I picked up like, the white manual for Home Run. I picked up the white manual for Maze Craze. They were like $1, $1.50. I bought a lot of them. One of them I just bought, I think seven to nine manuals off of the one guy, and they were anywhere from $1.50 to $3 a manual, and then he combined shipping on the whole lot. So I bought them off him, but most of the guys are ridiculous. Oh, I want $15 for this manual, and then another $5 to ship it. I'm like, nope. But I'll eventually have a list when it's all done that I'll actually probably put up, looking for, because trade-wise, between the double different versions of the cartridges, I have over 340 games now for the Atari. And I made a list. I didn't keep any prototypes. Any ones are just PAL. I didn't put on my list. And there's 219 games that made the list of ones for the Atari that I don't have. And I'm not really going to get them all. I just put them on there. And, hey, if I buy lots and they're there, fine. If not, no skin off my back. Out of the games I really want, 12. So I have pretty much all the games I really want for the Atari 2600. If I get the other ones, that I get them. I'm not worried about them. Because like I said, I didn't put no prototypes. And there's some games that came out that, okay, like Waterworld. That wasn't a prototype, but that came out, and just a loose cartridge people want $200 for. And I'm like, no. But that's it. Eventually, I'll probably have a video of video games to trade. I'll do a video on all my double games for the different systems. Comic book wise, I should do a video for what I have to for trader sale on the comic books. I think that's what's going to be happening sooner. I'll do like a toy video, baseball card video, football video, and just show and list them down low what I have, and as they get traded or sold, I'll just change the information on the bottom, because I think that's the best way for me to do it, and just have a sub thing, like I have my channel with the channel that has the different, like Matchbox, diecast cars, NASCAR. Then I have the comic books I own. I have the unboxing hauls, and I'll just do a video that says sell trade section, and that's what I'll do. I'll just have a video of what double Matchboxes I have and diecast cars, and then I'll just do a video. I'll show them, and then this way all I have to do is eventually, when a lot of them go, we shoot a video and erase that one and put the other one up. So that's probably what's going to end up happening with that section. It would be nice if eventually I could do a store and just sell my doubles that way. Because like when they destroyed my board games, I have a lot of board game parts. Yeah, a ton of board game parts. I probably have close to like 20 to 30 board games that are out in the garage that are partially complete. I have parts for Pac-Man. I got parts for Battlestar Galactica. Escape Death Star. Destroyed Death Star. I got some of them that I bought that they told me they were complete. I got them home and they were missing parts, and I was like, I'm not going to bother with it. Because I have a Wizard of Oz trivia game out there that I wanted and it was a really nice game. But come home, it's missing, and I was like, it's not worth me going all the way back to squabble of a game that cost me $2. So, and then I see people selling the parts for just some of the pieces. They want $2 each, and I'm like, wow. So in the long run, I might do that. Same thing with some of my parts, some of the G.I. Joe stuff that I have no clue what the hell it is. Because I bought in a lot. That's how I got the F-14, the water moccasin, the Cobra Claw. I bought at a flea market off the lady who I bought the house from. Well, the realtor I bought the house from through. Her husband and them were having a yard sale, so I went over there and I bought a couple board. That's how I got my Pac-Man board game, my A-Team, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and a lot of the G.I. Joes I have. I got from him. Of course, back then I didn't pay that much. I paid $25 for the F-14 jet, and it had the box for it, but he didn't have the parachutes. And there was another thing that was missing. I got that, but I don't have the parachutes. I got some loose G.I. Joe figures from, of course, Freedom and Spirit. Spirit was broken in half. The O-ring broke, so I replaced that. Freedom's missing his claw to hold on to his arm, so I'm trying to find a replacement part that can be glued into this thing so I can put the claw back on so it can be put on his arm. Got Firefly, but he's missing his green his green cell phone. So that's another thing I've been looking for. You can go on eBay and get a black one, a red one, a white one, but they're not the original green one. If you get a green one, a guy has the green. He wants $45 just for a little piece of plastic cell phone. So I'm like, no. And I think it's crazy what people are paying for 80s G.I. Joes. I mean, the prices I've seen are like, you can buy 1960s Joes cheaper. Like, I'm thinking about my next project is to, since I got the water moccasin done, and I ended up getting 2 Cobra Claws finished. I bought one, and then I went and bought stickers. And of course, I didn't read it, and I ended up buying a different size. I guess they make a bigger Cobra Claw for like bigger figures. I ended up buying stickers for the bigger Cobra Claw. So I ended up paying $45 and bought another one that came in the box and had 2 sets of stickers. But it was for Fun School, and the stickers weren't clear, they were gray. So they only work on the Fun School Cobra Claw. So I was like, okay. So I still need stickers from other Cobra Claw, even though it's complete. Parts and everything's done in it. And I have the other one, the Fun School one, finished. It has the stickers on, everything's on, that one's complete. In fact, when I bought the water moccasin for parts for another one I bought online, it came with a Cobra Piranha. And that was missing parts, and I ended up buying another Cobra Piranha, and now that's complete. And I actually have the blueprints for it, so I still need the blueprints for the water moccasin. But I have the driver. I don't have the card for the driver for the water moccasin. I don't have the card for Cutter either for the killer whale. But my next thing is probably going to be putting the killer whale, because I have actually a killer whale out in the garage and a havoc out in the garage, and the havoc needs a lot of parts. And I don't have what was the driver's name? I forgot the driver's name for havoc. But I need a driver for the havoc. I do have Cutter for, yeah, I have Cutter. I do need a new waist for him, though, because his thing, if you notice, his thing's broken on the bottom. But I got Spirit. Like I said, here's Spirit. I just need Freedom. And I found this Joe. This Joe is actually mine. This is a 90s Joe. I got this one when my godson was buying toys. But like, I have Ace and I got Wild Weasel. But I got Major Blood. I also need the gun for Cobra Commander. The visor one from the 80s. And I have Rakondo's gun and backpack, but I don't have Rakondo. I have his card. That was a lot. I bought that of Brian too. I bought, but then I have a bunch of He-Man stuff. My friend Brian Galeski gave me. Gave me GoBots, Thundercats figures, He-Man figures, and he called me up a couple weeks ago, right before my one friend passed away, and said he had a bag of Transformers for me. So I'm still waiting to get them. And when I get them, I'll do a video to show what I got. And if there's any doubles, I'll trade them. Hopefully trade them for something I need, because some of them are ridiculous. I wanted to buy Scorpnox. Triptychon. Yeah. Triptychon was up on Mercani. It was a good price. I was hoping that this thing would have came through, and then I found out it didn't. In fact, they're trying to tell me now that they still want to go through with it, but I have to call my lawyer and tell him I want it in writing, because I don't trust them. But stuff didn't go through, and I'm just like, I don't care. I just tired of dealing with it. But and Snoopy versus the Red Baron game for the Atari 2600 is fun. I actually think I like that game. That's one of my favorite games now. Been playing that. Have my grandson Keegan playing it. He manages to shoot down the Baron twice. But that's it. And as always, I like you guys for viewing and subscribing. King Joe out.